Hello guys, my name is Captain Zeno and I am the CEO of Zino Aviation. You're watching this video because you have inquired about our commercial pilot training program based in Johannesburg, South Africa. So this is just a really quick video to explain the program, maybe answer some questions that you have and let you know exactly what is expected and how you can enroll and get started on our programs. So Zino Aviation, we are a pilot training, aviation management and consultancy firm. And what we do is we help aspiring pilots just like yourselves to become commercial pilots. Many people, they want to become pilots, but they don't have anyone there to help them or to guide them or to mentor them. And as a result, they make a lot of really bad decisions, a lot of mistakes, and they experience unnecessary stress on their journey to becoming commercial pilots. This costs them more time, more money, and a lot more difficulty than necessary. So what we do at Zino Aviation, in a nutshell, is we help aspiring pilots to become commercial pilots. And we do this by guiding you, helping you, and mentoring you. We do this through a wide range of services, from master classes to mentorship programs to ground school classes, pilot medicals, simulator sessions, and many other things as well, right? Now, flight training programs are ran in conjunction with our partner flight schools, which are based across the world. Now, in this case, you've inquired about our commercial pilot training program in Johannesburg, South Africa. So, number one, it is based in South Africa, which is a fantastic country to do your training. In 2021, South Africa actually trained the most amount of pilots in the entire world. And South Africa has pilots coming from all across the world, from all across Africa and Asia, and even some people who come from Europe to do their training in South Africa. So how long does the training take? The duration for the training program is 12 to 13 months, but that is also provided on your discipline. So if you are disciplined and you stick to the schedule, you should be able to be done in 12 to 13 months. But if you decide to go out, partying too much, and you don't fly when you're supposed to fly, you don't study when you're supposed to study, you don't sit your exams when you're supposed to sit your exams, then obviously it will take you longer than the stipulated duration of 12 to 13 months. Program cost. Well, the flight training program costs $45,000 for all of your training. So for your PPL, your CPL, your night rating, your instrument rating, your multi-engine rating, all the training required to make you a fully qualified commercial pilot is $45,000. The flight school also charges a $5,000 admission fee. So in total, $45,000 plus the $5,000, you're looking at $50,000 in total for your training. Now, you might be wondering, what about accommodation? What about transport? Well, how am I going to settle all of those things? Well, very simply, the flight school does provide accommodation and the flight school does provide transport. Now, your accommodation is 15 minutes from the flight school. The flight school is based at Lanseria International Airport. And as I mentioned, the accommodation is a short 15-minute drive, which the flight school would be taking you to and fro in the company's transportation with the other flight students as well. Now, in terms of your accommodation options, right, you have several different options. Either A, you can have a shared flat in which you would have your own individual room to yourself, or B, you could have a shared flat with a shared room with a roommate, or C, you could have a shared flat, or rather not shared flat, you could have the entire flat to yourselves, all right? Now, depending on what you want and also depending on your budget, different people might choose to take different accommodation options. Now, all the accommodation options and the prices are also listed in the South Africa SACAA prospectus, which is the flight school's brochure, which you will not have access to as well. So you might be wondering, how do I get started and proceed with the admissions process? It's very simple. All you need to do is to pay the flight school's admission fee of $5,000. Once the flight school receives the funds, they will be sending you all the documentation that is required for you to apply at the respective embassy in your respective country. Those documents will include your proof of payment, your proof of accommodation, a verified ATO certificate, your admissions letter, and the flight school will be taking out a mandatory medical insurance policy for you, which is mandatory for your stay in South Africa. That process usually takes between 2 to 4 weeks, and once that is completed, the flight school will send you all of those particular documents. What would you do after that? You would then need to go and either apply directly at a South African embassy in your respective country, or you'd be able to apply through VFS, which is an organization that the South African government uses to handle and process their particular visas. Once you've applied either through VFS or at the embassy, then you just sit back and you wait up until your visa is approved. When your visa is approved, you'll be able to book your ticket and head down to Johannesburg and start your flight training. Is there a payment plan? Because $45,000, I don't have all those funds all at once. And the answer is yes, there is a payment plan. How the payment plan works is this. As mentioned, you would need to pay the $5,000 for your admission fee prior to getting your visa. Once you get your visa, you would be required to pay $15,000 for the private pilot's license prior to you arriving in Johannesburg. When you arrive in Johannesburg, you can continue your flight training, and every quarter of the year, you would be required to make a payment of $7,500 every quarter of the year for 1 year, up until the $45,000 for your training has been paid. Now, that is the payment plan that we have in place. However, we do understand that sometimes you might not necessarily be able to keep up, or the payment plan might be a little bit too tight for you, and we're always willing to sit down with you and have a conversation and kind of come up with what would be more of a suitable payment plan for yourselves. The final thing that we need to discuss is the pilot mentorship program. At Zino Aviation, we run a pilot mentorship program. Now, how does it work? It's very simple. From the moment that you register and you pay, I, Captain Zeno, will become your personal mentor. I will go on this entire journey with you from start to finish. I'll be with you every single step of the way, and you will have unlimited access to me 24/7, 365. Not only will you have unlimited access to me, you'll also have unlimited access to our flight instructors, because at Zino Aviation, we hire certified flight instructors, and they're going to be available to you and be at your beck and call whenever you need more sessions, whenever you're struggling. You can reach out to myself, and you can reach out to our instructors for the entire duration of your training, free of charge on the mentorship program. So the mentorship program, how it works is I would mentor you in 3 key stages: before flight training, during flight training, and after flight training. So the before flight training stage, the concept is to prepare you for flight school. A lot of people don't know, but there is an 80% dropout rate amongst people who want to become commercial pilots. AOPA, which is the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, they did a comprehensive study, and they found out that out of 100 people who start their journey to become pilots, only 20% are successful and 80% fall to the wayside. Now, this is for a wide variety of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because of a lack of preparation and a lack of ability. And so what happens is, if you're not prepared, you're going to be overwhelmed in flight school. And you're going to be repeating and retaking and repeating and retaking until eventually you just end up running out of money. And this happens to a lot of people. So the purpose of the mentorship program, or one of the purposes rather, is to fully prepare you and equip you for success at flight school. So how do we do this? From the moment that you register, we would be having weekly sessions via Zoom or via Google Meets. And by the way, the mentorship program is flexible. So I accommodate your schedule, because different people have different schedules, right? So we will be having sessions, and I'll be working on your weaknesses. I'll be teaching you all the tips and tricks to help you to perform extremely well at flight school. I'll be teaching you about the aviation industry and many more things. In addition to that, what we would then be doing is you would be having sessions either daily or weekly, depending on your schedule, with our flight instructors at Zino Aviation. And our flight instructors would be teaching you all of your 8 PPL topics that you would be learning at flight school. So air law, navigation, meteorology, principles of flight, ATG, flight performing, and all those particular 8 topics, our instructors would be teaching you. And the purpose of this is so by the time you get to flight school, you already know everything. This is going to mitigate against the chances of failure and increase your chances of success. We also have agreements with our partner flight school in South Africa that if you do your ground school with our instructors, then when you do come over to South Africa, you do not have to repeat the ground school. You can go right in, sit your exams, and start flying immediately. This will save you time, this will save you money, and this will save you a lot of stress. Now, that's the before flight training stage. Now, if you are watching this and you are based either in Nigeria or Ghana or somewhere in West Africa where you can easily access Lagos, Nigeria, then we also have something very special for you. At our office in Lagos, Nigeria, we do have a state-of-the-art flight simulator that switches between glass cockpit, analog cockpit, and it can transform between whether you're flying a Diamond aircraft, a Cessna aircraft, and many other aircrafts that you would encounter at flight school. And what we would be doing is, if you would come in person, our certified flight instructors will teach you how to fly in the simulator. So imagine that you already know how to fly before you get to flight school. They would be teaching you everything from how to start up an aircraft, how to taxi, how to take off, how to maneuver, do flight maneuvers, handle emergencies, how to speak on the radio, how to land. You would learn absolutely every single thing in our immersive flight simulator that you would learn in real life. And the logic and the concept behind this is, by the time you now finally come over to flight school, you already know all of the theory and you already know all of the practical, significantly increasing your chances of success and reducing your chances of failure. All of this is free of charge if you are on the pilot mentorship program. Now, we also do ground school classes, so you can still have access to the theory side and also have access to the practical side as well in the simulator for a one-off fee, which is a fantastic course, and we've had tremendous success with that course. However, we usually tend to recommend the mentorship program because, as opposed to doing it on a one-off course where you pay some money and then you're done, on the mentorship program you have unlimited access. So as opposed to be limited, for example, to 15 flight hours, you can have 50, you can have 100, you can have 500 if you want to. And the more we can prepare with you before you go off to flight school, both theoretically and also practically, the more you are likely to succeed. So that is the first part of the mentorship program, which is before flight training. Now, the second part is during flight training. And how does this work? The reality is flight school is extremely difficult. It's extremely challenging. I come from an aviation family. My dad's a pilot. My brother's a pilot. My late uncle was a pilot. I've got a cousin that's a pilot as well. And even with this and my extensive experience as a child in aviation, I still struggle tremendously on my training. And so the likelihood is you're probably going to struggle too, just like everybody does. But when you're struggling in flight school, because you're on the pilot mentorship program, you can reach out to me any single time. So I'll give you a bit of a background with myself. I have been to over 7 different flight schools in total. I was a pilot at 18, a private pilot. I was a commercial pilot at 19. I'm dual rated, so I fly both planes, helicopters. I've been in aviation for over a decade. I've been to 7 different flight schools in total because I've had to leave flight schools numerous times because I've been lied to, scammed, deceived, all kinds of things. And through all of these good and bad experiences, I've been able to develop a golden, comprehensive wealth of knowledge about flight schools. And this is why it's important to allow me to mentor you. Because with your decision making, with when you're struggling and needing help and advice and all of these things, you can reach out to me to support you during your flight training. Now, in addition to this, you can also reach out to our instructor who will be able to also be teaching you whenever you're struggling at flight school as well. Both theoretically and practically, we're going to be an anchor of support for you as well. Now, the last stage is the most important stage of the pilot mentorship program. And how this works is we would be basically mentoring you after you basically finish your flight training. So how do you get a job? We would be basically helping you to get a job. Now, I have to be very clear. We at Zino Aviation cannot guarantee you a job because, number one, we don't own an airline, and number two, we've never seen you fly. But one thing we can guarantee you is if you are on the pilot mentorship program, you are 100 times more likely to get a job with us than without us. We will significantly and drastically increase the likelihood of you getting a job. We have a ton of connections in this industry, and a lot of times you know how it works. Unfortunately, a lot of times it really is about who you know. And on the pilot mentorship program, you would know me, Captain Zeno, and I know a lot of people in the industry. I would be helping you to be getting interviews, I'll be vouching for you, picking up the phone for you, and I'll also be showing you how to get jobs internationally as well as in your local country. We will be doing your CV for you, your cover letter for you, as well as doing interview preparation for you, because guess what? You might get an interview. It doesn't mean you're going to pass. But if you are on the pilot mentorship program, we'll be preparing you for success and preparing you to pass. Now, what's the duration of the pilot mentorship program? There is no duration. At Zino Aviation, we will mentor you from the moment that you enroll on the mentorship program all the way up until I, Captain Zeno, and my team help you to get your first pilot job. And when you get your first pilot job, when you're flying in the right seat of a commercial airliner or a private jet company or something along those lines, then that is when the mentorship program is finally completed. Now, please understand the mentorship program is optional. It is an optional program. You can still come to our South African partner flight school or any other of our other flight schools as well. And you can still enroll on any of our other services as well without joining the pilot mentorship program. So it is optional. However, as somebody who has helped thousands of aspiring pilots on their journey, and as somebody who has seen many aspiring pilots make some terrible, terrible mistakes, if you are somebody that you want to save money on your training, if you are somebody that you want to finish as quickly as possible, if you are somebody that you want to experience the least amount of resistance and difficulty on your journey, and you are somebody that you want to avoid all these mistakes that cost aspiring pilots, then the pilot mentorship program is definitely for you. But if you don't want all those things, then the pilot mentorship program is not for you. I hope this is making perfect sense. Have a look and you'll be able to see all of our various different services, from our ground school classes to our medicals, to our pilot master classes, to our mentorship programs, to our services catalog, and many other things. Have a click on one of them and hopefully we'll get you enrolled on our programs. Take care. Bye-bye.